This is Nicolae Ceausescu, and for the past 24 years, he's been the communist leader of Romania, ruling like a medieval king. However, it's all going to go downhill for him very soon. In the city of Timișoara, protests among the Hungarian minority after a local priest named Laszlo Turkis criticized Ceausescu. Ceausescu's soldiers tried to arrest Turkis, but they were met with heavy restraints by the protesters, who were now joined in by students, as it became some sort of a general anti-Ceausescu protest, losing why it was set up in the first place. Ceausescu's secret police, the Securitate, failed to contain the protests, so the army was sent in to deal with the rioters. On the following day, Nicolae left for a state visit to Iran, leaving the responsibility of crushing the rebellions to his wife, acting as a sort of second-in-command, Elena Ceausescu. It was during these rebellions that the iconic Romanian flag with the communist symbol cut out was first flown, emulating the 1956 Hungarian rebellion. Any attempt that Elena and Nicolae's cabinet had at crushing the rebellions just didn't work. Following the return of Nicolae from Iran, he realized that the protests were getting out of hand and organized a mass rally to be held in Bucharest. On the morning of the 21st of December, 1989, Ceausescu held a mass rally in Palace Square of over 100,000 people. While initially it seemed successful, at least for Ceausescu, who had planted large speakers around the rally, emulating former speeches and crowd noises. However, it wasn't successful, because about 8 minutes into his speech, screams could be heard.
Populare din București, considerând aceasta ca o
The protesters have now entered the building, firing their guns. They do not intend to leave any survivors. However, Ceausescu went on to continue his speech.
Să demonstrăm cu toată puterea, forța și unitatea în apărarea independenței, integrității și suveranității.
And despite Ceausescu announcing he intends to raise the minimum wage and old age pensions, nobody is having any of it. The crowd goes home and continues to protest. However, Ceausescu thinks it went well because he calls a second demonstration for the following day. However, it wasn't successful. After demonstrators enter the building, seconds before they reach the top, the Ceausescus are taken out of the city by helicopter, completely drained of color out of fear. Ceausescu then orders the plane to fly towards the city of Snagov and asks for more assistance towards Ceausescu. However, the answer on the other side is clear. They're on their own. At this point, Ceausescu then asked to be flown to the city of Titu in the hopes to find a loyal base. However, a message crackles over the radio, ordering all unidentifying flying aircrafts to be shot down. So the pilot leaves the Ceausescus in the city of Targoviste, where they are held at a military base for the next several days. With the capture of Ceausescu, his dictatorship is finally over. The Ceausescus are held from the 22nd through the 23rd, when on the 24th of December, the new head of state, Ion Iliescu, orders an extraordinary military tribunal to try the Ceausescus. However, this isn't done out of any hatred for Ceausescu, as Iliescu had been a key figure in Ceausescu's government and openly identified as a communist. And then, on the 25th of December, 1989, a rigged, unfair military tribunal takes place at the barracks where they're held. This trial is brief and largely for show, as the trial had no opportunity to present evidence or allow the Ceausescus to defend themselves, nor appeal any decision that was handed down to them. The Ceausescus are tried for genocide and attempting to flee with over $1 billion in foreign banks. As their crimes are read to them, Ceausescu simply laughs.
Acel azil politic. Cu toate, râsul acesta este semnul bolii dumneavoastră.
Unsurprisingly, they are found guilty and are sentenced to death by firing squad, which is to be carried out immediately. He tries to appeal the decision, saying that he is the legal president of Romania, but here he is denied.
Inculpat președintele României, și voi răspunde.
The Ceausescus request to be shot together, which the soldiers accept. However, as they are being restrained, they both do not want to be, and refuse to be tied down, claiming that they won't run away. However, they're denied. As they're being led out to the side of the barracks, Elena loses all composure and starts firing insults at the executioners and shouting that they go to hell. On the other hand, Nicolae remains calm in his final moments as he begins singing the first line of the Internationale, the workers' international battle song.
Frate, nu mai trage nimeni.
And just like that, the Ceausescus are dead. Footage of the Ceausescus laying at the hills of the barracks were shown to Romanian television the next day. The execution was so swift, the cameraman could only capture the final round of bullets and the Ceausescus' dead bodies laying there before being placed into their coffins and buried. Romania then went on to join NATO and the EU and reject their communist past, completely outlawing the Communist Party in the nation. The Ceausescu name is still a touchy subject in Romania. The Ceausescus were the last people executed before a ban on such executions in 1990.